Welcome back, sports fans. Rob Webster once again coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas. Today we're going to review week 13. And we're going to take a look ahead to week 14. It's time for the playoffs, folks. It's time to make that push, win a championship. Let's see what we can do to help you. But let's take a look at week 13 first. We just did okay in week 13. Quarterback, I like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and Trevor Lawrence. Burrow and Herbert both had good games. Those were wins. Trevor Lawrence is just a push. He did all right, but not as good as he should have done against the Detroit Lions. So that was just a push. I picked Chubb and Eckler, two usual stalwarts, and they didn't do so hot. They were in your lineup. You weren't that pleased. I gave myself pushes on both of them, but they did not do that great. And Aaron Jones, he was a fail against the Bears. Didn't do a thing. So at wide receiver, we did really well. I liked A.J. Brown, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin. All three of those were wins. Tight end, terrible. I like Kittle and Higbee, both losses. Gerald Everett was a win. He got 11 points against the Raiders. So that was good. And who do we steer clear of? Mac Jones, Ryan Tannehill, those were both wins. They both didn't do well. Miles Sanders was just a push. He had a late touchdown, kind of saved his stat line. Dalvin Cook was a fail, though. He had 16 points. Did real well against the Jets. At receiver, I told you to steer clear of Alan Lazard, Jerry Jeudy. They were both wins. They did not do well. Had you steer clear of Mike Gesicki. He didn't score a point. That was good. Cole Kmet was a push. He had a 10-point day, so he did all right. Not as bad as I would have thought he'd done. So overall, that gives us 11 wins, 4 losses, 5 pushes. That's a 68%. D plus. It still takes our season average to about 71%. So we're still passing the class, and that's real good. Our sleepers, let's never talk of our sleepers again. I did terrible sleepers this week. Like Garoppolo, who went out with an injury. Kareem Hunt didn't show up. Van Jefferson, I'm not sure he was even on the field. And Dawson Knox, who got injured early. So 2 injuries, 1 no-show, 1 who knows. So over 4, not good. Not good. But hey, it's all about the playoffs now. It's all about that playoff push. Enough with living in the past. Let's take a look ahead to week 14. So who do I like in week 14? First at quarterback, I like Kirk Cousins, Minnesota Vikings against Detroit Lions. I think Kirk's going to have a good day. It's not a primetime game. Not a tough opponent, familiar opponent for Kirk Cousins. I think he'll do real well. That Lions defense made me look foolish last week with Trevor Lawrence, but they don't have 2 in them. They're playing some good football, but Kirk Cousins is playing some good football. So I see him doing real well this week. So Kirk Cousins against Detroit Lions. I also like Tua Tagovailoa. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too much, Tua. I always butcher your name, and I apologize. But I like him against the Chargers this week. Yeah, he's a solid player. He's going to go out there and try to win that football game. So he's doing real well, getting points. He'll continue that this week. So I like him this week against the LA Chargers. I also like Mike White, New York Jets against Buffalo Bills. I don't like Mike White to win this game, but he has 2 straight 300-yard games. The Bills have been susceptible, not to losing to 300-yard passers, but maybe giving up 300 yards in a game, mainly because their offense gets out ahead. They can they'll give those soft cushions underneath. They'll give you everything in the center. Mike White's a guy that's going to take advantage of that. He's going to get a lot of yardage. Um, like I said, I don't know if he's necessarily going to win the game. I don't suspect as much, but I like him stat line wise. So look for Mike White, New York Jets against the Bills this week. Running back, I like Derrick Henry. Tennessee Titans against Jacksonville Jaguars. Familiar opponent for Derrick Henry. He's had some off weeks. He's due for one. So look for him to get a lot of carries. They're going to feed him the ball. So hopefully we'll make the most of it. So Derrick Henry against the Jaguars this week. I also like Ramondre Stevenson, New England Patriots against the Arizona Cardinals. He's a stud. If you ever watch him play, he's so exciting to watch. Every time he gets the ball, you don't know. It seems like he could take it to the end zone, take it to the house every time. Arizona, they've been okay defensive wise, but I see him getting a lot of touches, a lot of carries. He'll do real well this week. I also like Tony Pollard, Dallas Cowboys against the Houston Texans this week. I think they'll get out and up early. And if they do that, Tony Pollard's just going to see the ball pretty steadily. And talk about a guy that can take it to the house anytime he gets the ball. He's an exciting back to watch. So I just look for him to continue that this week. Houston Texans, not very good against the run. So look for Tony Pollard to see a lot more touches than when he sees. He usually sees about under 20 touches. This week I see him seeing over 20 touches, and he'll turn that into points, lots of points. So Tony Pollard this week. At wide receiver, I like Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Detroit Lions against the Minnesota Vikings. I think that game, you'll see a lot of offense in that game. And so St. Brown's just been a solid performer for the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff will get him the ball. Goff's a good enough quarterback to he may make the occasional turnover, but he's going to throw a nice ball. He's going to get those receivers the ball. So look for St. Brown. Have a decent day this week. I also like Davante Adams on Thursday night. Vegas Raiders against the LA Rams. He's just a machine. Davante Adams is amazing. You realize that he made Brett Favre look really good last year. Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback, but he made Aaron Rodgers look spectacular. And when he loses Davante Adams, he's just a good quarterback, not a spectacular quarterback right now. So Davante Adams, Vegas Raiders this week, the Thursday night game. Also like Jamar Chase, Cincinnati Bengals against Cleveland Browns, battle for Ohio. Joey Burrow is going to want to get his favorite target back in the mix, and so look for him to target and get the ball to Chase a lot this week, and Chase will turn that into points, to catches, yards, touchdowns, and points. So, who do I like at tight end? Nobody. I'm really meaning it now, but Kelsey and Andrews are good, obviously, but we'll take a look at who else we like this week. TJ Hawkinson, playing his old team, Minnesota Vikings against Detroit Lions. Cousins, classic Rob Webster fashion. He likes to pair a quarterback with a pass catcher, and this time it's Kirk Cousins and TJ Hawkinson. So he'll be looking for some revenge against his old squad. So Cousins will feed him the ball. So I like him this week. Also at tight end, here's a name I didn't think at the beginning of the year I'd ever say, but Foster Moreau, Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr likes to look for him. He likes him as a target. So uh, you know, they're going to have their hands full um, against that LA Rams team, and so just look for him to look for Moreau. Uh, um, so Foster Moreau this week. I also like David Njoku, Cleveland Browns against the Cincinnati Bengals. With Deshaun Watson back. Um, he was looking for Njoku quite a bit last week, and look for that connection to continue. So Njoku should see plenty of targets. This is a game they're going to have to pass the ball. They're going to have to keep up with that Cincinnati offense, and so look for Njoku to be the benefactor of that, and hopefully turn that into some points at tight end. That takes us to what I steer clear of this week. Well, quarterback, I'd steer clear of Daniel Jones. New York Giants against the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think this game's going to be close, and I think that Philadelphia defense is just going to cause Daniel Jones to have fits. So, yeah, I would steer clear of Daniel Jones this week. I also steer clear of Kyle Allen, Houston Texans against the Dallas Cowboys this week. That Dallas defense is really good. They made Matt Ryan look terrible last week, and so I see that continuing this week against Houston Texans. At running back, I'd steer clear of Devin Singletary, Buffalo Bills against the Jets. That Jets run defense is tough. I think the way Buffalo's going to move the ball, they're going to pass a lot. They're going to use Josh Allen's mobility. I just don't see Devin Singletary getting the touches and the targets that are necessary for him to convert into points. So I'd steer clear of him this week. I'd steer clear of Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens. He's banged up this week. Even if he does, and he probably will end up playing. I think he's just kind of a tough mover. He's going to have a tough time with that Baltimore Ravens defense, and so I just don't. This is the first time these two teams meet these familiar opponents, and it's usually a pretty physical and ugly game. So don't look for Najee Harris to produce a lot in that game. I'd steer clear of Amari Cooper, Cleveland Browns against the Cincy Bengals. And this one's just a gut feel. That Cincy defense is playing tough. I think Deshaun Watson just isn't ready to turn it on yet. So I just look for him to look for Njoku, look for Hunt, things like that that are still easy. He's just not quite there yet. So it'll be a week or two before he gets Cooper in the mix. But this isn't the week for that. And in classic Rob Webster fashion, I'm pairing a pass catcher and a quarterback. So I didn't like Daniel Jones against the Philadelphia Eagles. I also don't like Darius Slayton against the Philadelphia Eagles. At Philadelphia's secondary and defense has played quite well this year. And New York Giants just aren't there. I mean, they've had a nice season, had a very admirable run, tie with the Commanders last week. Yeah, I just don't I don't see it happening for them this week. So look for them to kind of shut Darius Slayton down, and I just don't see him getting the points this week. Who would I steer clear of a tight end? All of them, except for Kelsey and Andrews. Yeah, it's no joke. Although Hawkinson's getting into that tight end tier 1A, we'll call it. But one name I'd steer clear of, Cameron Brate, Tampa Bay Bucks against the San Francisco 49ers this week. I just don't see him getting the looks. There's too many potential targets on that Tampa Bay team, and he's just That San Francisco defense has been tough this year, so I just don't see it happening for him. I'd also steer clear of Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals against New England Patriots. The New England Patriots defense has been playing pretty solid. They're kind of in their groove, um, and McBride's just not that good. I mean, he's a serviceable replacement for Zach Ertz, but nothing to write home about. So if he's in your lineup, I'd try to steer clear, put something else in. I think you'll have much better potential elsewhere. So steer clear of him this week. That takes us to sleepers. I did not do well at sleepers last week, but let's take a look at them this week. Who I like, sleeper quarterback. I like Russell Wilson. I think one of these days he's going to break out, and maybe this will be the week against the Chiefs where he actually puts up some numbers. I don't think it's going to win the game, but these are two division foes, familiar opponents. The game's in Mile High Stadium, I'm going to call it. I forget what it's called now. I'm going to say Invesco or has some name, but it'll always be Mile High. And maybe that home crowd can energize Russ to do some good. So he's probably available in most leagues. He might be one to take a flyer on this week. Sleeper at running back, another Wilson. Apparently, I like the Wilsons this week. Jeff Wilson Jr., Miami Dolphins against the LA Chargers. And he's another one I think's due for one. And as soon as he can get in a groove, he could take off. So I'm hoping this is the week. That LA Charger defense, real susceptible to the run. So if he's available in your leagues, take a flyer on him. I think he's got some boom potential. At wide receiver, sleeper, I like Corey Davis, New York Jets against Buffalo Bills. Like I said, I think Mike White's going to pass for over 300 yards. He's got to throw it to somebody. He's got Garrett Wilson in there, but I could have put him in. Would have kept this Wilson trend going. But Corey Davis is one that, with Mike White in there, he's seen a lot more targets. So he's probably available in most leagues, I would think. And so I like his potential to get some points this week. So Corey Davis, Jets against the Bills. Finally, at tight end, I like Austin Hooper, Tennessee Titans against Jacksonville Jaguars. That Jacksonville defense, they've been up and down. Ryan Tannehill's going to, I think you're going to see try to establish a run with Derrick Henry. They'll throw the short passes. Burks and Woods have been looking okay, but maybe Hooper gets involved this week. He's had a couple good games here and there. And I just think that Jacksonville defense is kind of susceptible to the tight end position. They're in the bottom 5 in the league in fantasy points against tight ends this year. So Hooper's a potential. Yeah, he's a flyer. I'm not saying definitely put him in your lineup, but you need a tight end. He's on waivers. Throw him in there. I think he's got some potential. So, well, excellent. I want to thank everybody for watching. As always, I really appreciate the support. Enjoy week 14. Go forth, watch some football, get ready for the playoffs coming up here. Most of your leagues should be in the playoffs or close to the playoffs, heading towards the championship. Hopefully your team's doing well. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. I will respond. But thank you, everybody, for watching. God bless, and enjoy watching football this weekend. Thank you very much.